Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Story, and I'm back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we are reading Reddit stories all about the craziest birthdays. So birthday parties, birthday gifts, anything you can think of that falls under birthdays, we're going to talk about it. I may or may not have a birthday today, so I may or may not be pulling rank here just because I want to hear all the tea about birthdays specifically. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into it shortly. But before we do, if you are listening or you've listened for a while now and watched for a while now, but you aren't subscribed or following, what are we doing here? I thought we were friends. It would be really cool if you did that. I'm just saying. It would honestly be the best birthday present ever. Like, the best. Okay? If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that hype button as well. We love to see her. Glad to have her. And I think that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and jump on into these crazy stories.
I'm Grace Story, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now.
So if you are new here, we typically only read from Best of Redditor updates because I can't sleep at night if I don't know how a story ends. I hate a cliffhanger, hates to see me coming. We are mutually against each other. But I thought I would go a little crazy. I wanted to go a little spicier today. So some of these are from Best of Redditor, some of these are from Am I the Devil, some are just from Am I the A-hole. We're getting them from everywhere. I tried to find ones that had some sort of conclusion and they wouldn't leave you hanging either way. I kind of wanted to give you guys that little disclaimer since if you are someone who typically listens, you expect that conclusion. Either way, all of the stories will be linked down below so that you can check them out and read the comments, see if there's been any updates after I read the story, and yeah, keep up with them. So our first one is from Best of Redditor Updates, and it is titled, Friend Asked Me to Use My Home for Her Child's Birthday Party and Then Uninvited Me. This is going to be spicy. I love to hear it. Friend wanted to celebrate their child's birthday in my party room because, quote unquote, it's a special number they are turning. I asked why she can't use her own home, and she said it's because mine is kid-friendly. I told her I'd prefer she had the party elsewhere, like a community center or other public event spaces. Yeah, we're off to a doozy already. Like, I tell my boyfriend all the time, like, I love when people come over. I do. Like, I want people over all the time. But you gotta, like, give me a heads up. I need to know what the deal is. What are we planning to do here? Like, my house is not Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. You can't just show up. So I get it. Like, your house is not like a public space. So don't like that. We don't like that. Already not a fan. She came back to me a few weeks later saying they were too expensive or far away and then asked again if she can use my place for the party. By booking airspace, she would be saving hundreds of dollars on the venue. I agreed with the caveat that we keep it to a maximum number of people, we keep to the booking time, and she has to get her own guests from the lobby. Oh, wait, so is your house like an apartment? Because that definitely changes things because, noise complaints and things like that. Interesting. It was important to clarify this to her because my partner and I had hosted a huge party for her a year prior, which had way more people invited, and we found ourselves not enjoying ourselves the whole time as we had to monitor the guests and retrieve people from the lobby throughout the event because many guests came later than the stated start time on the invitations. We also didn't enjoy attending the party because we were too busy setting up, coordinating the games, monitoring the guests, and cleaning the room after. That's insane. So I wouldn't have even hosted it this year, but if you were going to agree to that, I would have added the stipulation that they have to hire like a coordinator to do all these things. Because if they're not paying you to do them, which it sounds like they're not, and they are not doing them themselves, because honestly, that should be their job, like the parent's job, then they need to hire someone because in no world is that your responsibility. You're already lending them the venue, and if they're like disrespecting it by not cleaning it, if guests are not showing up at the right time, which like, I get it. People trickle in for a party, but if they don't have someone designated to get people from the lobby, like, I don't know. It's not your party. It's just your venue. So I don't like that either. 2 weeks before her child's birthday party, she tells me she wants to change the party time to an hour later due to her child's change in nap times. She also went over my max number of guests because she had already invited people before I had agreed, and it would be too awkward to disinvite them as well, and all the grandparents had to come too. I told her I would not be canceling the booking, and if we can keep the original time. She eventually told me to cancel the party because I seemed too stressed out. Well, yeah, you're like throwing things on top of OP. Of course they're going to be stressed out. Mind you, I was willing to work with her, but she was unwilling to compromise. She also did not offer to compensate for my time and efforts, only offering to pay the cost of the room booking that my strata charges from the room, which was also the case for the previous big party that we hosted for her. I found out through social media that she still had a birthday party for her child, but neither my partner nor I were invited. We feel hurt because it seems like she only wanted us there if we could provide the venue and coordinate the event. I also have to mention that we live in a luxury condo with a lot of amenities near the city center. We also feel like she took advantage of our living situation and has been treating our home like a community center for her to impress all her friends with. We do not feel like guests that can enjoy these parties because there's so much liability and work to do when the parties are held in our home. She also asked me earlier this year if she could use one of my party rooms for her birthday party, which she eventually decided not to do because she didn't want to clean up at the end of the night. That's crazy. Like, you told her she would actually be responsible for her own mess, and she's like, I can't, that's too much. Sorry. That's where I draw the line. Yeah, that's insane. So unhinged. The entitlement is insane. Like, they definitely were just using you for your condo. I don't know the friendship dynamics, how well you've been friends or anything like that. But if she doesn't care at all that you don't wanna, like, work it and she's not willing to compensate you, like, there's no compromise going on, she clearly doesn't care about your feelings, therefore, she doesn't really value you as a friend. So it's 100% about using your condo and not about you as a person. There is an edit that says, "Thanks for all the advice. I appreciate the insight from other people. I really should have said no after the first party, but it's hard for me to say no sometimes, especially to long-term friends, which is something I'm trying to work on. I debated on whether I should post my experience here and how I should proceed with this friendship moving forward, but the resounding opinion is pretty clear." Yeah, I would say that the trash kind of took itself out here, and that friendship is hopefully over. I hope for your sake. But there is an update from 3 days later, so let's read that. 3 days after making this post, I messaged this friend to tell her how I felt hurt and used when I saw that she still had a party and did not invite me. I was expecting her to acknowledge my feelings and apologize, but she replied to say she was, quote unquote, a little offended to receive my message because she was the one who had to cancel her party at my place so last minute, and it was awkward to tell everyone at the party could not be on the same day anymore because she could not book her own party room on the same date. All right. So she was like embarrassed because of her own actions. That seems like a her problem. Yes, she had her own party room that she can reserve in her own condo this whole time. Yet she still wanted mine because it's more quote unquote kid friendly. I don't know how a luxury condo is more kid friendly. From the luxury condos I've been in, like the party spaces, the living spaces, they're typically not kid friendly. Like, honestly, and that's something that I've talked with people about a lot. Like, kids who live in those spaces don't really get to have like that kid experience because they're forced to grow up really quick. If they're around like these luxurious things and they're going to these like work dinners with their parents and they're kind of more seen as something to like parade around versus having a kid and like this kid having a normal life. So in my experience is not everybody's experience, but based on what I have seen and know, I typically found that the more luxurious something is, unless this room has like a pool or something insanely luxurious, it's probably not more kid friendly. It just looks better and it's about making her look good. She complained that she had to book on a different day instead. She shared she didn't invite my partner and I because she assumed I was working on the new date of the party. I told her I had the day off. I was livid at this point, so I pointed out how she's been acting entitled since I've moved into my current place over a year ago. How she tries to invite herself and her family over to my place multiple times to use my condo amenities. How I had already hosted her such a big party last year, and several other things I took initiative on when her other friends did not step up. I did this all without asking for anything in return, just to be a good friend when she was going through a personal hardship at the time. I told her how inconsiderate she has been to ask for all these things from me, on top of trying to get me to host her birthday and her child's birthday party. I'm glad you set those boundaries and just like laid down the law because this has gone on for too long already. Like, you should have nipped it in the bud last year. Maybe you had this conversation, but it doesn't sound like it. So I'm glad you finally did. In contrast, I've never asked of anything similar for her to do for me, myself, and neither has she ever offered. I told her she should feel ashamed to be using her quote-unquote friend like this and to put herself in my shoes for once. I clarified that it was her fault that I had to cancel my party room booking because she did not want to wake her child up from their nap for one day in the year, and that she did not consider the time of several people that she had invited in making this decision. I told her I was surprised that there was no accountability or apology from her end. She sent a short message telling me she was sorry and didn't realize how much trouble she had caused. She then asked if we can move past this. That was all she said. Out of self-respect, I told her I do not want to be friends anymore, and she left me on red. Oh my gosh, I hate when people do this. This is like an example where she's like, I didn't realize how much trouble I've caused. It's kind of like victim-y, like feel bad for me type, like, oh, I didn't realize. I don't even know how to explain it, but so many people do it and it's so manipulative. Like, it's like apologizing, but it's just manipulative. It's not like actually owning up to it. Like, oh, I didn't realize I caused you so much trouble. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm glad that she left you on red. That's probably for the best. I'm gonna be real. I'm glad that you got her out of your life and life can go on. Let's read a couple relevant comments. Commenter 1 said, "Good job speaking up. I'm glad you decided your time and energy is best spent elsewhere. On to bigger and bigger things in life." OP said, "Thank you. I try not to be a confrontational person. It makes me anxious to tell someone how they've been making me feel, but I really had to speak up for myself and cut ties." Another comment says, "Consider this though, if you speak up after the first time someone does something you don't like, you won't waste weeks, months, years on a person who doesn't respect you. Or if they are really friends and oblivious to what they did to upset you, things get straightened out instead of letting things fester until you end the friendship." This is such, like, I say this all the time because I am a recovering people pleaser. I've been at it for years, and it's still hard for me. But I try to nip things in the bud, and when I talk to people and they ask me for advice, I'm like, "You need to nip this in the bud now because it's wasting people's time. It's enabling that person so that maybe they don't even realize how they're coming across. Maybe they do, and they're just better off not in your life. But either way, it's like ruining your relationship, and it's like a slow building tension, and you just need to nip it in the bud as soon as possible out of respect for yourself and the friendship. So by people pleasing, you're actually hurting your relationship and like yourself because of that. But that is that whole story. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you can, because I'm telling you mine. So I expect you to tell me yours because that would be cool, you know? Big fan of Yap sessions. So this is also from Best of Redditor Updates, and it is titled, "Would I be the a-hole for having people bring their own lunch to my picnic-themed birthday party?" So I, a 24 female, mom of 2 under 2, am turning 25 in a couple months. I recently had the idea when shopping for Easter dresses that one of the dresses I liked would look cute for a picnic. I was also looking around a bit for a birthday dress since 25 is a big one, and the idea of having a picnic for my birthday sounds so fun. It will be the best time of the year for it as far as the weather, and my birthday even lands on a weekend. My thought process is that since I'll be inviting mostly other moms with kids, and their husbands will likely come too, and there will probably be easily 30 to 50 people there, including kids. I'm an extrovert, so I love this idea. That's a small wedding, honestly, and I can't afford to feed that many people, but I really want them there because I love the people. I was thinking that I'd provide cake and games for everyone, as well as picnic blankets for the yard, and was thinking that each family could bring their own picnic lunch. Not only does this alleviate costs while also allowing me to invite everyone, it also means that everyone's allergies and preferences are accounted for. I was thinking of having some snack options like fruit and cheese sticks, but the meal portion would be on the guests to provide, seeing as it's a picnic. I also don't feel like this is too different from going out to eat for your birthday and everyone paying their own way. Also, because I feel like it's relevant to the a-hole judgment, I don't want to get any presents. I just want to play games with my friends and watch all our kids run around together and have fun. I love hosting, and getting to see everyone together is the main goal. I'm mostly asking because I was putting out feelers for availability with my mom friends, and one of them asked what I was thinking, so I told her my idea. She seemed put off when I said that families would have to bring their own lunch since it's a picnic, but maybe it was just how I said it or something. I don't remember how I worded it, but it wouldn't have been too different from, "Yeah, I wouldn't be able to provide lunches for everyone, so I was thinking everyone could bring their own picnic lunch." Would I be the a-hole by asking people to provide their own lunches? It won't let me link a screenshot, but the invitations do note in large print that, quote unquote, "your presence is the greatest gift." I personally don't see anything wrong with this. I grew up in a culture where this is totally normal. I don't know if that's just like my small town vibes where like it was just a community thing. I will say that when I was reading this, another option that would probably be better received, I don't know why, it's just more, like, acceptable where I'm from, is a potluck. So, have everybody bring a pan of whatever, like, some people can bring whatever they feel and just have them sign up. That might be a little too much for you or for them, and organizing that might be rough, but I've been to so many, like, graduation parties, birthday parties, baby showers, like, anything you can think of, and they've been potlucks, and it's been fine. Usually, the family ends up chipping in, like, the grandma makes, like, 2 pans of sides, and then, like, your aunt brings, like, a dessert, and then someone brings drinks, and I don't know what it is about having a potluck versus people bringing their own lunches, but something about it just sounds better, and people just tend to gravitate towards it more. And then they have the expectation for the people who maybe can't have gluten or have allergies, like, to bring something that they can have, or to maybe bring, like, a sandwich for a kid who has an allergy to something and maybe more sensitive. It also depends on how many people in your life have allergies, because around where I'm from, that's not very common, like, there's maybe 1 person in, like, a 100-person group, if any, that has, like, an allergy, and it's a little bit more rare for us just where I've grown up, so that probably plays into it, but they just bring, like, a dish for them, or they bring their own food, and it's always been fine. There are 2 edits, so I'm gonna read both of those before we jump into the update. For a bit more context, all of my friends are moms. There are about 6 to 10 of them, but many of them wouldn't be able to come without their kids, and most of them have at least 2 kids and a husband. Some of them have upwards of 4 kids they may have to bring. You can start to see now how reducing the guest list isn't exactly an option if I actually want to spend time with my friends. Inviting just 2 of my friends already increases the guest list by at least 8 people. I've seen some people comment that, quote unquote, I'm an adult and should have a more mature party. To this I say, you're boring. Also, I didn't have any friends as a kid since I was ostracized for being neurodivergent, so my friends I've made after coming into motherhood mean a lot to me, so I want to celebrate this milestone with them. To people saying that you would never bring food for your family, I'm sorry that packing a few sandwiches and chips for kids and adults is so harrowing for you. I hope you find a way to feed your families when they go off to school or work and need a lunch packed, since you clearly feel that doing so is unreasonable. A secondary question: a lot of comments seem to feel that a party requires food. I've been to plenty of parties that only had cake and snacks, both of which I would be providing. Does every party require a meal? This seems absurd to me. So, agree. And I have been to plenty of parties where they just had cake and, like, fruit. A cheap option that I know a lot of people do for weddings is you get, like, those pitcher things that have the like, spigot on the bottom, and just do water and then, like, the lemonade powder, and that would be, like, lemonade for 50 people. That would be near than enough, and, yeah, you could just get, like, a big sheet cake from Kroger and then do that, maybe have 2 of those, and that's still pretty inexpensive, and then if they wanna eat, they can bring their own food. I know, like, the potluck thing is not feasible for everybody, but yeah, I mean, you're not leaving it with nothing. Like, I've been to literally so many things where they just had cake, or they just had, like, drinks, or they just had, like, a bowl of Lay's chips, and that was it, and they had way more people there. And, again, maybe this is, like, a regional thing where I grew up where this was really well accepted. Like, some weddings are really casual, and they have potlucks, like, that's just the way it is where I'm at. I don't think a picnic is necessarily immature for a party. Like, I'm 27 and I would do that. Like, literally, I think last year I wanted to have, like, a tea party, and we all had a little picnic type situation where it was just, like, tea and stuff. I didn't end up having it because it's way more expensive than you'd expect. But at the end of the day, like, that's not very different from a picnic. Like, you're literally would be, like, sitting on pillows at, like, a table type situation, having tea versus having cake and, like, lemonade. So, I don't think it's immature at all. I don't think that there's necessarily a party that's, like, mature, immature. Obviously, you shouldn't be doing anything that's borderline weird. Like, you shouldn't be renting out, like, a kids area for you and a bunch of, like, adult men, because then that would probably be a little Predator-esque. But I was actually talking to my friend about this, and it's like, why are we taking the whimsy out of, like, birthdays? Like, I wanna have a whimsical birthday too. Like, I wanna have a fun birthday party. Like, Why can't we rent out a venue and it's like frowned upon for us to do that for ourselves to have like 20 friends, you know? Why are birthday parties like weird when you hit a certain age? So bring the whimsy back. I think a picnic sounds like so much fun, low effort, and as someone who gets really stressed about event planning, this is like my dream. And I don't think anyone would have any problem with this. And if they did, then don't come, you know? Let's read the edit number 2. I want to clarify that for the most part, this is a get together with my friends. The birthday party aspect is secondary. The only part of the party that should center on being my birthday is the cake. Everything else would just be generally having fun. That being said, would it be clearer if the invitations didn't say anything about my birthday? Or if it had a very small spot in the bottom corner that mentions we'll also be celebrating Name's birthday, but please don't bring a gift? In my opinion, no. Don't minimize yourself because someone's uncomfortable with the type of party that you want to have when you're not doing anything crazy or out of the ordinary. I'm honestly considering leaving anything about my birthday completely out of the invitations and just making it a picnic gathering. I just don't want to blindside my friends with the birthday song, which, unlike most people, I actually really like. I just want my mom friends to sing happy birthday for me. Not the kids, not the dads, but as I stated before, it would be really difficult for them to get there if they were invited and they had to find babysitting. Wait, why can't the dad watch the kids for a couple hours? Just gonna throw that out there for y'all to mull over. Why are we not? Like, if it's that big of a deal, why are the men not? Like you said, all of the dads would come. So it sounds like all of them are in relationships where they have like husbands. Oh, she literally answers that in the next paragraph. Sorry. As for why can't the husbands watch the kids, some of them have husbands that work on the weekend. Not all of them have husbands willing to watch the kids. Some of their husbands work 50 to 60 hours weeks of hard labor and will be up for going for a party and helping with the kids, but wouldn't be able to watch the kids by themselves very easily. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I get it. I get it. But you're telling me that they cannot ever do anything on the weekends because their husbands are too tired to watch the kids for 2 hours? No. No. Guys. This is not an every weekend event. This is not like a freaking planned event that is marked on your calendar every Saturday. Like, no. They're grown-ups. They're adults. They can handle it for 2 hours. If it's really that bad, like really that bad, throw on 2 Disney movies. Have a movie day. Like, you're telling me that they would go to, like, the party, but if they're not invited to the party, then they can't watch their own children. Hopefully the children are well behaved enough that it's really not that bad. Like, I get that you have to be present and make sure that they, like, have snacks and whatever, depending on their ages, you might have to change diapers. But this is insane. That's crazy. I'm sorry. That is insane. It is 2026. Your husband can watch your kids for 2 hours. There are many reasons the husbands might not be able to watch the kids, and it isn't my or y'all's place to judge how a family works. I mean, yeah, but we should also expect more from our husbands. I'm sorry. Like, having kids, like, being a stay-at-home mom is hard too. Like, it's not 50 to 60 hours of work. It's 24/7. So I think that you need to give the moms more credit. They deserve to have time away as well. I don't think that saying, hey, I hope you can make it is necessarily judging them. Okay? Like judging their family. That's just saying I'm having a party and I want to have my friends there. But because I have no idea how many of their husbands would actually show up, I have to include them in the count. Stop commenting on the guest list size. I cannot change it. Additionally, there's no need to be nasty. If you couldn't come, I don't care. You weren't invited anyway. I'm here for clear expectations as to why I would be the a-hole or not. I'm not here for name-calling and rude folks. It's also becoming increasingly clear that mostly single people are commenting on this post. If you don't have kids, then of course you wouldn't want to pack for a whole family. You're not used to it. Most of these women pack lunches for their kids all the time. So I'm not asking them to go above and beyond anything they usually do. So, like I said, I don't think you're the a-hole at all. I just think that the husband thing is ridiculous and I will die on that hill. Sorry. The relevant commenter 1 says, you're not hosting if you're telling guests to bring their own food. People should scale their party ideas down to what they can actually afford. I don't think that asking them to bring their own food is a huge hassle. Like, you could literally drive through McDonald's if you don't want to do that. I just feel like this isn't a big deal. Like, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but I don't understand what the problem is, other than the husbands, which is my thing. You know, they don't have a problem with that. I do. So commenter 2 said it might be received better by guests if you have it during a non-meal time, like 2 to 3 p.m., and just communicate, enjoy cake, refreshments, light snacks, so they're aware that you aren't serving a meal. I think the weird element comes from you hosting a picnic, but asking people to bring a picnic lunch. Better to not tell them what they should do and just tell them what you're doing. Supplying cake, snacks, blankets, games. OP said, thank you, this was really helpful. This helps me understand the issue better in addition to providing a solution. I do agree with that. Like, this will be supplied and just kind of not mention anything else. Because if you were to just say, like, snacks will be provided, even that is a little bit wishy-washy. Like, I would just say, like, cake is provided, light refreshments, like something that makes it abundantly clear it's not a whole meal. So there is an update from over 2 months later. So we're going to see what that says. In my original post, while there were some helpful people, most people said, yes, I'll be the a-hole. I ended up calling my friend who also has kids, and she said I was overthinking it, and she and some of the other moms I would be inviting have done similar things in the past already before I joined the friend group, so I decided to go through with it. That's what I agree. Like, that's why I was like, I don't understand what the issue is. Like, she's genuinely overthinking it. She even offered to bring the cake. I gratefully declined because I wanted to provide the cake and snacks myself. I invited my mom friends and 2 really close friends who don't have kids, and lots of people came. The invite read similar to this. Join us at 2 p.m. for blank's age birthday party on birthday date. Enjoy cake, refreshments, and light snacks. Picnic blankets and games for the adults and children will be provided. Bring your own lunch as desired. Feel free to bring a cheese or a side to share as desired. Ultimately, there were about 30 people there, including all the children. We have some postpartum moms that weren't able to come, which was expected. One mom had just closed on a house and was doing some finalizing stuff for that, and a couple moms already had travel plans for spring break. So only about half the people that were invited came, but everyone who couldn't come had a very good and exciting reason. Everyone who came had a blast, despite the weather suddenly being much harder than expected, and it was such a joy to watch the kids run around and play with bubbles, chalk, and pinwheels. I brought the leftover cake to our next mom's group meeting and was able to share with my friends who hadn't been able to make it. Overall, I kind of think that the folks who said I'll be the a-hole might be chronically online, chronically single, or just generally bean soup commenters who can't fathom a situation designed for someone who isn't like them, considering nobody seemed to be able to put the context of who was being invited together with the type of event it was. I'm glad I didn't listen to Reddit and did it anyway. I don't know, I'm going to explain the bean soup thing because I love the idea of this. It's a TikTok that went viral where this person was making bean soup and it was a recipe and people were commenting and they were like, this looks so good, but I don't like beans. Can I substitute the beans? Or things like that. Or I don't like bean soup. They were just straight up saying it. And it's like, guys, not all content is for you. It's okay if you don't like bean soup. Maybe this video just isn't meant for you. And so people having that mindset of like, everybody posts on the internet for my consumption. Like, no, maybe this is your bean soup. Maybe this has nothing to do with you. Maybe you aren't the target audience, and that is totally okay. Just keep on scrolling. However, I don't really like how defensive OP was getting because I feel like she wasn't open to suggestions very much. And it's like, you asked for advice. I do agree that people were taking it to the extreme, but there are people in the middle who are just trying to be like, let's look at this through a different lens. And I feel like they kind of caught some heat too when maybe OP could have been more open, but it's okay. Top comment is, my friends do something like this called dip lunch where we all bring different dips and sauces and the roster brings chips and veggies. It's fun and low budget. She phrased it weird, but I don't get how hostile some people were towards it. Exactly. Like, I feel like everyone kind of has their own little thing like this or their own little experience where they've gone to something similar. So, yeah, that was a whole lot for a small thing. Another best of Redditor is found out my girlfriend is cheating on me, giving her this card tonight at my birthday dinner. Ooh. The front of the card reads, this card will feel heavy with a picture of a weight coming down. Inside the card is a taped key and reads, now that you're single, you don't need to feel guilty about your schmexually charged texts with Michael, going on dates with Jared, or about getting drinks tomorrow with Derek. And it's like crossed out like Heidi and put Derek, so I'm guessing she lied and said she was going with her friend Heidi. Relevant comments are, how you doing, OP? How'd you find out? OP said she left her Facebook Messenger open to a pretty damning conversation when she handed me her laptop once. I continued to snoop. I feel bad, but not that bad. And then someone else asked, you going to do this in front of everyone or wait until everyone is left? And OOP said, it's just a birthday dinner for 2. I'm not going to get a crowd involved. So the update is from the same day. And in all caps, it says, it's ruined, ... Thanks, Reddit. I mean, you posted on Reddit, but they said her bestie found this and called her. I don't know how he knew we were even still dating, considering how she's been hiding the fact from everyone. She just called me. I'll do my best to transcribe the conversation from memory. Me. Hey, what's up? Her. I was calling to ask you that. I'm getting some Mexican food. Well, Aaron called me and asked me if I was okay. Yeah? He asked if I had done anything embarrassing today. Then he sent me a picture. So is there anything you want to say to me? I don't want to say anything to you. In fact, I don't think I want to talk to you ever again. Long pause. He said, do you understand why? I don't understand anything. Oh, yeah? I think you're disrespecting me. If me posting a funny picture is disrespectful, then what is cheating and lying about it? Who's cheating? Go F yourself. I'll leave the key in your mailbox. I hope that wasn't super confusing. I tried to kind of like bounce back and forth without being too annoying and saying me and her 1,000 times, but yeah, I didn't think that this was good. Like, personally, I felt like this could be executed way better, and then not posting it until after would have made it better. I feel like this could have been just, could have been done a little bit pettier. Just, that's all I'm going to say. And top comment is never gloat before you carry out your revenge. LMAO. This is like the 3rd post that the cheater found out from a Reddit post. Exactly. We're never, ever, ever posting shit before it happens, okay? We gotta move in the shadows, as Charlotte Doberry likes to say. Am I the a-hole for ruining a 6-year-old's birthday party? And we are switching over to the subreddit, Am I the a-hole? I am a Girl Scout troop leader. I've been for many years. Every year, I rent out a park pavilion for my girls so we can host our end-of-the-year party. All the girls' parents come, and I give a little award ceremony. Basically, I call all of the girls up one by one, read a little speech, and give them all of the patches they earned this year. School ends in a few weeks, but a couple of our girls have family vacations, so we decided to have our party a little early to ensure everyone could come. Anyway, I get to the park with my co-leaders, set up all the decorations in the pavilion. We rented it from 1 to 5. It's a couple minutes after 1 p.m. when we get there. Unfortunately, there appears to be a big child's birthday party going on in the pavilion. I assumed it was a mid-morning party running a little late, so I walked up and asked the mom if they're finishing up. She immediately confused said, "Finishing up? We just got here." I felt very awkward. I stood silently for a moment, sharing nervous glances with my co-leader. My co-leader kind of nudged at my shoulder to get me to speak to the mom. Finally, I told her that we have the pavilion reserved for a Girl Scout party and that you're really supposed to rent these things out before you use them. I said it as nice as I could, and I apologized profusely, but she immediately started screaming at me, throwing a fit about how I'm ruining her 6-year-old's party. This is unbelievable. How could I be so selfish, etc. Again, I feel super awkward, and I'm just continuously apologizing, but I stress the fact that I reserved this pavilion, and I have roughly 25 people getting here in 30 minutes to have a reward ceremony. Eventually, her husband got her to calm down, and they all angrily began to tear down their party decorations while glaring at me and loudly making passive-aggressive comments. A few of the kids were crying when they got into their cars to leave the park. My co-leader insisted I did the right thing. We reserved it, and they didn't. But now it's been a couple of days, and I still feel awful about ruining this little boy's birthday party. Please give it to me straight. Am I the a-hole? No, I don't think you're the a-hole. I can see both sides because I didn't even know that you could reserve pavilions. Is this at like a public park? Because I've always just like gone and found a free one. But if someone came up to me and they were like, hey, I reserved this, yeah, I would be like a little agitated if I was like hosting my kid's party or hosting any sort of party. But at the end of the day, like there's nothing you can do. The mom is the a-hole for how she reacted. Like, the poor planning sucks on her part, but I don't think that necessarily makes her the a-hole. I think that makes her unorganized. But the way that she responded and went total Karen and entitled to something that, like, is a public thing that you can reserve, whether she knew that or not, that's what makes her the a-hole. So, no, you're not the a-hole. I get that it sucks. Like, sometimes you have to lay down the law or be responsible to do things you don't want to do, and it feels like you're the a-hole. But no, you didn't do anything wrong. You did everything right. There's always going to be someone out there who maybe didn't, or doesn't understand, or thinks that the rules can bend for them. And yeah, I don't understand why everybody had to leave. Like, why couldn't they just go into the grass? The party didn't have to end. I feel like the mom really soured the mood, and then everybody left. Whereas if she would have just played it off and been like, "Oh yeah, no, so sorry, I didn't know you could do that. Come on, guys, we're gonna go over here." And is there other pavilions in the park? Is there, like, if they had a blanket or something in their car where they could lay it out and just put the cake or something on there, or maybe even have like a setup by their car where they can put the cake in their trunk or whatever. And it may not be the most professional or exciting situation, but little boys, especially 6-year-old boys, love that. They love adventure. They love things that are out of the ordinary. They would not care. They would go play in the grass and it would still be fine. So, yeah, I think that the way the mom handled it is wrong. Top comment is not the a-hole, but you need to grow a backbone. You can't just apologize over and over when you did nothing wrong. You're in a position of leadership. These girls will learn how to act by emulating you. You will impact their behavior and social skills in life. Be a stronger leader for them. I agree. I'm working on this still, not apologizing when I didn't do anything just because I know that it's going to inconvenience someone or make them uncomfortable. I constantly say, so, so, so sorry, but can you do XYZ? Or I'm so sorry, but could you take a second and what am I apologizing for? Like, yeah, I'm apologizing for inconveniencing them, but you need to just lead. You need to just be confident. Like, there are situations where it's like, I'm sorry. I know that you really don't want to do this. And that's like a different situation. But when you're constantly apologizing for something, that's where the line needs to be drawn. Another one from r/ am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for telling my family I wish they would no longer be on this earth and go to hell for throwing a birthday party? I know the title sounds bad, but please hear me out. I, male 29, grew up with 5 siblings and a skewed family dynamic. There were bullying, blatant favoritism, and some things that aren't great at all. We'll be leaving out much of that. My narcissistic sister's female 34 birthday is 4 days before mine, so P-days were one celebration. If she didn't get her way, she'd throw tantrums, so our partners just gave in. It was always on her day. She got to pick food, activities, cake, always meringue, chocolate, yuck, etc. I was an afterthought. She got everything she wished for, even a moped. I did get gifts too, but only necessities: clothing, linen, shoes, etc. At 11, I got buckets of paint for the chip ceiling in my room and called ungrateful for not being excited. On my B-day, no one even said happy birthday, and I had to collect cans to buy myself a magazine. I'm sorry, OP, that sucks. Next year, I boycotted it, snuck out, biked to a wind shelter, and only went home when I was starving. Just my granny had been worried. Mom said, "Open your present at least." I did just that so I could leave. It was one big box. Inside was a computer, monitor, etc., even a modem. Mom said, "It's staying in the living room, we all share it." So you haven't gotten me a computer, you got the family one. Don't be selfish and ungrateful or you won't get to use it. I left, sat on my bed feeling numb. I decided I hated my birthday. I would never celebrate it again. I refused everything V-Day related, even got into a few fights with my family, but finally, they let me be. Moved far away at 17, only minor contact with my family, got a girlfriend, a fiance, and she's accepted my stance, as have my friends. Got a good job offer in my hometown 4 years ago. We moved and basically no contact with my family here. Last week, my mom and sis came unannounced. They've, my sister, planning a huge joint party. She has the idea of a 65-year retirement theme. Retirement age is 65. What? Didn't even ask. They assumed I would be excited and went on about pun-based activities, nursery home COVID masks. I was silent and felt rage building up until I exploded and screamed at them how they destroyed my childhood. Then, "I wish all of you would just pass away and go to hell like the soul-sucking monsters you are." My fiance, crying, told them to go and pulled me inside. I was enraged, thought a heart attack was coming. Fiance managed to calm me down, then I just cried. Every piece of neglect and abuse during my childhood swirled through my head. My phone blew up with my extended family saying I'm a heartless POS. Even my granny said she was disappointed in me for treating my mom that way. My fiance is on my side and said, while it was hurtful things, it's no more than they've hurt me. But even people I got along well with are saying I should apologize. I don't want to, but should I? I don't feel like I should have to. They had it coming and I never want to see them again. But I do want to maintain a relationship with the relatives I like. I just feel like a mess. Am I the a-hole? So this is a really hard situation, and I don't think that there's necessarily a right way. With family and with trauma or, situations that hurt people, there are a lot of ways to go about it, and it's not necessarily black and white. I think that you shouldn't have to apologize. Yes, it would be the grown-up thing to do, but I read this thing, and it was really eye-opening for me. It was talking about how growing up, you've always been taught, turn the other cheek, apologize, be the bigger person. Often, that is told to the victim in the situation, not the person who's doing the hurtful things, because the victim usually has traits of like empathy, compassion, things like that that are good things like kindness, where they can be pressured into moving on because at the end of the day, people just want everyone to get along. And yeah, that person is a horrible person, but that's just the way they are. And like, you don't want to mess up the family dynamic, do you? Like, I can hear it so clearly. So I think that you don't have to apologize. There's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself and standing your ground and saying, they've treated me horribly. And you can say to your relatives, you have seen this happen. You grew up with me. You've seen this happen. You know that they've treated me horribly. Your relationship with them is your relationship. I'm not going to tell you who you can and can't be around. But I will not be having further contact with them. And if that is something that you cannot handle, then that is you. That's not me. I would love to continue a relationship with you outside of them. And I think that that's the best way to approach it. I understand them being upset with you for finally blowing up, but it sounded like that was the closure you needed. Like you've been holding that in for a long time. And now that you've said that, you can finally move on. You just had to get it off your chest. So yeah, you're not the a-hole at all, in my opinion. There is an update in the comments. So let's see where it's at. Update. Went to bed and this truly took off overnight. Thank you for all your support. I really mean it. While I can't respond to all of your comments, I've read them all, and I'm so sorry for those of you who have had similar or worse experiences growing up. My heart is with you. I'm taking the advice many of you gave, and I'm already looking into alternatives regarding therapy. It feels a bit scary, but opening up here helped me realize it's probably for the best. It is so good for you. It'll hurt at first, like you will be so exhausted, but the emotional weight will eventually lift and it'll be so good. Like, highly recommend it. Some people suggested we move, but I love my work, and our house is a perfect fit for us. Fiance works from home, and she's invested a lot of time and energy into her garden, and the mountains and lakes around here is where I feel at home. I don't want these people to take it away from me. And even though I had close to no contact before, I'll definitely do so now completely. If my brother or other sisters contact me and want an explanation, I will give them my side. I will probably condense all of this post into something concise and comprehensive to show my relatives why and how it went down. And if they can't understand my point of view, then maybe you're right and that they are not worth having a relationship with anyway. Thank you all again, and I will go hug my fiance now. We will walk through all of this together and hopefully come out whole on the other side. I'm so glad that you've come to this conclusion. If anyone who's watching or listening has a similar situation they grew up in, or you have a family dynamic that is toxic, I highly recommend reading the comments just for the solidarity and the advice. It is very much an uplifting place where you feel seen and heard if you've gone through anything similar. I love that OP is moving on. Like I said, you can't control other people and who they choose to have relationships with or anything like that. All you can do is control your relationships and how you choose to respond to things. I would hope that you don't give them any more energy and you truly go no contact and just let those relatives that you want to have a relationship with know, like, you don't have interest in discussing it. Like, this is where you stand and that's it. And however they choose to move forward is all you can wait on. Like, you can't control that, unfortunately. So I'm gonna end it at that. I hope that this OP had a great birthday. This was actually posted years ago, so they definitely had one by now. Um, but that's pretty much it. What do you guys think? Definitely let me know your comments if you can down below to all of the stories. I want all the tea. I want all of your opinions. And that's pretty much it. I upload with new stories talking about all of the drama every single Wednesday and Sunday, if that is something that you want to hear about. I like to call myself a nosy bystander where I love to hear drama, but I don't want to be directly involved. Like, don't confront me, don't get me involved. Just hand me the popcorn and let me watch it unfold from the sidelines. So I feel like this is the perfect place for me to be. And if you also identify with that, go ahead and hit that follow button. I'd love to have you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will catch you guys on the flippity flip, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Bye.